Once, in a cozy room filled with soft sunshine, lived a tiny Stitch named So. He was a very small Stitch, but a very important one. His job was to hold things together, to be a strong little line of thread on a big, wonderful teddy bear named Barnaby. So was a lovely shade of brown, the color of warm cocoa on a chilly morning, the color of the soft earth in the garden just after a gentle rain. He was proud of his color and proud of his job. But one morning, something was different. So woke up not feeling snug and tight, but wobbly and loose. He wiggled a little and then a little more, and with a soft poof, he came undone. He was no longer a neat little line on Barnaby the bear. He was just a single, unraveled thread, lying all alone on the vast, soft plains of a giant bed. The world looked enormous from down here. The pillows were like giant, fluffy, white mountains. The duvet was a soft, rolling landscape of hills and valleys. And far, far away, so far it seemed like the other side of the world, sat Barnaby. He looked sad without his complete, happy smile. A tiny piece was missing. So knew, with a little tug in his thread heart, that the missing piece was him. A shiver of worry wiggled all the way down his brown thread. How could he, a tiny, wobbly Stitch, ever make it all the way back to Barnaby? The journey looked too big, too long, too full of unknown softnesses and shadows. He felt very small and very alone. But then, he remembered his purpose. He was a Stitch. His job was to mend, to fix, to make things whole again. Repairing what was broken was what he was made for. He couldn't just lie here, unraveled and lost. He had to try. He looked down and saw his own tail, a long, looping line of brown threads stretching away from him. It was his own path, his own map, leading back to where he had come from. If he could just follow his own thread, maybe, just maybe, he could find his way home. And so, with a deep little breath that didn't make much sound at all, so began his great adventure. Inch by inch, the little Stitch went a looping, swooping brown thread friend. His first steps were across the quilted part of the bedspread. It was a patchwork of squares, some sunny yellow, some sleepy blue. But So kept his tiny focus on the trail he had left, the comforting line of his own brown color. The brown thread led him over a hill of soft cotton and down into a valley where the duvet dipped low. The world smelled of sweet laundry soap and sleepy dreams. He saw other things that were brown along the way. There was a little wooden block, the color of a strong tree trunk, left behind from playtime. So wiggled past it, feeling how smooth and solid it was compared to his own soft, flexible thread. His brown was a gentle, fuzzy brown, while the block's brown was hard and sturdy. He kept going, following his path. The journey was long. Sometimes he would get tangled in a wrinkle in the sheets, a soft white maze that he had to carefully wiggle his way out of. Sometimes a gentle breeze from the window would make him dance and flutter, and he would have to find his brown trail all over again. But he never gave up. He just remembered Barnaby's face and the feeling of being snug and useful. Repairing what was broken was the most important job in the world. After what felt like a very long time, the landscape began to change. The soft, flat plains of the bedspread gave way to something new, something fuzzy. He had reached the edge of the great, brown continent of Barnaby the bear. He had made it. He had followed his own brown thread all the way to the foot of the bear. A little fizz of happiness bubbled through him. The first part of his journey was over. But now a new challenge stood before him. Barnaby was like a giant, fuzzy mountain, where on this vast, furry creature did he belong. His brown thread disappeared into the bear's brown fur, and he couldn't see the trail anymore. He was the same color as the bear, a cozy, friendly brown, and he felt lost all over again. He knew he was part of the bear's smile, but where was the smile? It was so far up. He would have to climb. He found a seam on Barnaby's leg, a little ridge he could grip with his thread body. And so he began to go up, up, up. It was hard work for a little Stitch. The fur was thick and soft, like climbing through a warm, fuzzy forest. He pulled himself up, loop by looping loop, higher and higher. The bed below grew smaller and smaller. He felt a little bit brave. Inch by inch, up the bear he went, on a mission to be mended and sent. He climbed past Barnaby's chubby leg and over the curve of his big, round tummy. The tummy was very soft and squishy, and it made a gentle crinkling sound as he moved across it. He paused for a rest, looking out at the bedroom. From up here, he could see the whole world. The bookshelf with its colorful books, the rug with its swirling patterns. It was beautiful, but it wasn't home. Home was a special spot, right here on Barnaby. He kept climbing, his little thread body working hard. He was getting tired now. Was he ever going to find his place? Just as a little droop of doubt began to tug at him, he saw something. Something just ahead. It was round and dark and a little bit shiny. What could that bright spot be, shining in the fur? He wiggled a little closer, his curiosity making him forget his tiredness. It was a button. A hard, black button, sewn on with thick, black thread. It was Barnaby's nose. It was a deep, quiet black, the color of the night sky just before the stars come out to twinkle. It was a friendly black, a perfect nose for a perfect bear. So crept closer and touched it. It was smooth and cool. Seeing the black nose gave him a clue. He remembered being near something round and black. He looked up, and there they were. 2 more shiny black circles, bigger than the nose. They were Barnaby's eyes. They were made of the same shiny, black material, and they seemed to look at him with kindness. They were the color of dark, sweet licorice, a happy kind of black that saw all the good things in the world. He felt a strong pull, a feeling of knowing. Yes, this was it. He belonged here on the face, near the shiny black eyes and the shiny black nose. He had found the second color on his journey. First, the warm, earthy brown of his own thread and Barnaby's fur. Now, the deep, shiny black of the buttons that made his face so friendly. He was so close now, he could feel it. He scrambled the last little way, right under the watchful black eyes. He saw the place where Barnaby's smile was stitched. It was a happy, looping smile, but there was a tiny gap in it. He looked closer. Was that his spot? He wiggled towards the empty space, ready to fit right in, ready to complete the smile and make Barnaby whole again. But as he got right up to it, he realized something wasn't quite right. The hole was too small, and the other stitches were a different color, a dark, sleepy black, just like the thread on the button eyes and nose. His brown thread didn't match. A wave of confusion washed over him. If he wasn't part of the smile, then where did he belong? Had he come all this way for nothing? His little thread body drooped. He had been so sure. He had been so brave. He had followed the colors just like he was supposed to. He looked down, feeling sad and lost once more. And that's when he saw it. Just below the smile, on Barnaby's chest, was a big patch of color. It wasn't brown and it wasn't black. It was a bright, happy color, the color of a juicy strawberry, the color of a fire engine racing to help. It was the color red. A big, soft, felt heart was stitched right onto the center of Barnaby's chest. It was a warm, loving red, a red that felt like a hug. And on the very edge of this beautiful red heart, there was a tiny, empty hole. A hole that looked exactly his size. And leading away from that hole was the very end of his own brown thread. This was the twist. This was the surprise. He wasn't part of the smile at all. He was something even more important. He was the stitch that helped hold Barnaby's big red heart in place. His job wasn't just to make the bear smile, but to help keep his heart safe and sound. To mend the most important part of him. All his tiredness vanished, replaced by a warm, glowing feeling of purpose. This was his home. The gentle brown of his thread looked so handsome against the bright, brave red of the heart. He understood now. The journey had been about finding all the colors that made Barnaby special. the cozy brown fur, the shiny black eyes, and the loving red heart. And his own brown color was the perfect thread to mend it. Inch by inch, to the heart he went, feeling happy and content. He wiggled his little body right up to the empty hole on the edge of the soft, red felt. He tucked the end of his thread in, making himself ready. He fit perfectly. He was home. Now, he just had to wait. He knew that soon, the child who loved Barnaby would notice the loose thread. And a kind grown-up with a needle would come and perform the final bit of magic, the mending. So waited patiently, nestled against the warm red heart. He could feel a gentle, rhythmic thump-thump-thump from deep inside the bear. It was the make-believe heartbeat of a well-loved friend. So felt peaceful. He was no longer unraveled or lost. He was a little Stitch who had been on a very big adventure. He had been brave, he had been persistent, and he had found his way. He had followed the colors home, brown and black and red. He snuggled in, feeling the soft red felt beneath him and seeing the cozy brown world of Barnaby all around him. He had done his part. He had brought himself back to where he was needed. He was ready to be a strong little Stitch again, holding the heart of his best friend together. He closed his tiny thread eyes, feeling whole again. His journey was over. But as he rested, he thought he saw a little wiggle out of the corner of his eye. A button on Barnaby's blue overalls seemed to be wobbling just a little bit. Was its thread getting loose, too? Perhaps another adventure in mending was just around the corner. Moral: taking the time to repair something that is broken is a wonderful way to show you care.